All right, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are the seniors from the Hope Peer Educators. My name is Caitlin.
I'm Taylor.
And I'm Kathleen.
And we're just going to talk about some of the things that we're feeling during this quarantine as students and seniors and just like people in general. So it's going to be like a kind of a Q&A, and we'll go around and we'll ask questions and you get all of our perspectives on it. All right, so what do you guys miss most about Kings?
I have to say what I miss most about Kings is being able to exit my workspace, which was my dorm room, and go into the living room of my apartment and have my friends there, my roommates there. And it was like two completely different environments, where here it's kind of just like my room is like 10 feet away from my desk. And not that my parents aren't wonderful, but it's really not the same as being able to go talk to, your friends and your roommates about things and college life rather than trying to be here.
Definitely.
I would have to say for me, I definitely miss like the support and like Taylor said, like the friends, at King's, because I've made so many, really solid friendships over the past 4 years. So just like to not have that anymore, like I still have, the connections and like we still talk and stuff, but it's not the same as just, being able to call your friend and be like, hey, do you want to come over and hang out in the apartment? Like that can't happen. All of my college friends are spread out geographically, so we're all like so far apart, and we only are able to talk and communicate through like virtual means, which is tough.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely feeling both of those kinds of struggles. It is really hard leaving Kings that like you don't realize how structured your life is and how everything is kind of regimented. Um, and learning in person is really nice compared to what we're having to go through here. I definitely miss like seeing my professors in person and being able to like ask questions in class and get an explanation right away. Um, I also miss all the people that I've met there. It's really hard. But yeah, so how do you feel about graduation ceremony being pushed back?
Personally, I feel like it's really bittersweet. I like to commend Kings though because they did come out and say, we're still going to celebrate you. We're just going to move it. Here's our target date. While some other schools were like, no, it's not important. We're just going to cancel it. So Kings did a great job with that. But it is really bittersweet with it being moved all the way back to August because there will be a decent amount of the senior class who can't necessarily come, or they may have jobs. They may be somewhere else already. So I think that's definitely bittersweet that we may still be experiencing graduation, but not exactly with the group of people that we would have otherwise, or maybe not with all of our friends.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Like it's tough that, we got that email saying that it got pushed back. Like I know I was super emotional that day. Like I cried. I was, upset for a like brief period of time because like I was excited, it was getting close and the end was near, and like yes, the end of the semester is near, but like I'm not going to be able to walk across that stage until August now, and it's just like it's crazy to think about that. And it's just, I have a lot of friends who have graduated in previous years, and they've talked to me about how they had senior week, and they got that entire week full of um, opportunities for them to just hang out as seniors and as a class and do different activities. And while Kings is doing a great job, all of that is being crammed into one weekend. So I think it's just it's going to be a lot, but I think it's going to be great to be able to still celebrate with my fellow classmates and to walk across that stage, whether it's, whether it would have been in May or now that it's in August, at least it's still happening.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's definitely very different because, as you guys said, like we're not going to be seeing the same people necessarily that might not be able to make it. And it's hard to, like, you know, be waiting for that all summer and hoping that it's going to come. But at least it's something. It feels like final. And I'm glad that Kings did do something to kind of honor us in a way, because even though that's like not what any of us are thinking about right now, that's like not the highest priority for anyone or any like thing, those feelings of like that we're having of like missing out are being like validated by King, saying like, we recognize that this is disappointing, but here's what we're going to do to fix it. So yeah, I think all of that stuff is valid to feel like disappointing, that this is disappointing, that this isn't like living up to expectations, but at least it is something, and hopefully will be a good end to like our chapter at King's. But yeah. So far, what has been your guys' biggest challenge, and how have you overcome that?
I think right now, so far at least, my biggest challenge has been balancing the fact that I'm home and I still have a lot of schoolwork to do, with the fact that I think at least when I first came home, my parents kind of thought that I was on a break. So it's balancing. I still have all this schoolwork to do and everything else that's expected of me while when I'm at school, it's here's my schoolwork, here's what I need to do, and everything's regimented. Versus now it's I have all the time in the world, but I have a million other things to do at the same time. And overcoming that, I think, is just putting post-it notes everywhere. Sounds weird, but that's what I've been doing, as well as just making time to talk to my friends online, whether it's over Zoom, over Discord, over anything. Just making time to still have those connections has helped a lot.
Yeah, and I think like for me, the biggest challenge has definitely been motivation. Because I know like I've struggled with, being motivated to do schoolwork, whether I was at school or not. So it's just even more challenging now to, have that regimented schedule and sit down and actually like do work when it like I don't necessarily, the only class that I'm in Zoom for is one class out of my two and an internship that I'm doing. So it's like I just have due dates and all this time to do it. And it's just like, well, I don't want to do it. I want to lay in bed, or I want to watch Netflix. And it's putting things off till the last minute that I've been struggling with. And then also for me, living in such a small house has been, an issue too, because not only am I in school, but my brother is finishing out his freshman year in college, and my sisters are both in 10th grade. So we're all online learning at the same time every day. So it's finding that spot in the house where it's quiet and where I can focus is hard sometimes, because right now I'm sitting in my mom's office, but if my brother needs to be on Zoom and I'm just writing a paper, he has priority to the office. So then I have to move and find somewhere else to go. And so finding that like space has been hard as well.
Yeah, I agree with definitely all that. My family and I are definitely at this point completely sick of each other. We live in the middle of nowhere, and our Wi-Fi and our service is horrible. So it's fine if like one person needs to use the Wi-Fi for like a Zoom call, that's okay. Two, it crashes it. It's done. It has also been a struggle for me, as Taylor said, to get like motivated. And you said as well, Kathleen, to like motivate myself to actually do something. And because I just have like due dates. I don't have any like online classes. So just I have these due dates that seem really far away, that I have to hold myself to make sure that they get done for that time period that they are due. So what I've been trying to do is trying to keep to a schedule that's kind of similar to what I would be doing if I was at college. So I'm trying to do my work for the classes at the same time that I would actually have those classes. That just helps me fit in the work that I need to do. Also like rewarding myself when I get something done and being like, all right, so I got this all done. Now I can watch another episode of the show that I'm watching. So that's been the way that I've been trying to keep myself going on this. But yeah. All right. So what's something positive that has come out of this for you guys?
So for me personally, my grandma is actually moving next weekend, which is kind of crazy. But if I was at school, I wasn't really going to be able to help. It was right before finals. I wasn't going to be able to come home. But now, with having online classes and being in my house, I'm able to go out there every now and then. My dad and I were able to get up in her attic so she didn't have to. We were able to move a bunch of things. So that's been a positive, even though it's small thing to come out of this.
Yeah, and I think for me, just like being home and being able to like be with my family has been positive. Like even though, like you said, Caitlin, like we are getting sick and tired of each other, just because it's been a long time that we're in the house. But just like having those interactions that I normally wouldn't have, like with my brother being in college, like I never really talked to him a lot because he's not a big, phone guy. Like he doesn't talk on the phone a lot. So to have those like interactions with him has been beneficial. And like just being here for my mom, because my parents are divorced, so like being here as like a support for her, and like so she's not alone or doing something alone, like whether it's something small like me exercising with her or going for a walk with her, where she normally would do that stuff by herself, I think has been beneficial for both of us.
Yeah, that's really sweet, you guys. I've also been feeling kind of similarly, like definitely we're getting tired of each other, but I do appreciate being able to spend all this time with my family, because I'm going to be going like away next year. It's like different than when you're in college and you come back home for like all these extended periods of time. It's not really, you're not really away, or at least I wasn't. But next year I am going to be. So I'm trying to take advantage of all this time I am getting with them and trying to be appreciative of it. Also, like in my community at least, there's been a lot of people and local businesses that have been stepping up and helping those who need it, like with food, with like necessities like toilet paper. People were giving away stuff from like their own like private stock and collection from like stores. So seeing the best in people is a good thing to be shown in this time. So that's some things that have been getting me through it. Like I like to watch all those like positive videos that your moms and dads share on Facebook. It's kind of cheesy, but I like them sometimes. Do you guys have any other final questions before we wrap up on this?
I just wanted to say that like it's not really a question, but just like, so for the people out there, whether you're a senior or you're a student at King's or just anybody watching this, like everyone's feelings are validated, whether, you're anxious or you suffer from anxiety like I do, and you have those tough times where you just feel isolated and you can't go anywhere. Those feelings are validated. You're not crazy. You're not, don't let somebody tell you something that you're not. You are valued in this world, and what we're going through is obviously tough, but you're going to get through it.
It's really nice.
I would also just like to add, make time for yourself. We always say it when you're at school, you have to get involved. You can't, just study all the time. The same thing goes here. Make time to watch a couple YouTube videos or get dragged into a hole in YouTube. Make time to Zoom chat with your friends. There's plenty of games you guys can play online with your friends. I know my friend group does it a couple times a month usually. And also, if you need to smile with all of those positive videos, like what Caitlin said, John Krasinski's Some Good News channel has been phenomenal and comes out every Sunday and never fails to put a smile on my face.
That's good. Thank you guys for saying those things. I think that's a lot of really good things to keep in mind, like that we might not be thinking of right now, because we're like, oh, well, there's more important things than what I'm feeling right now or what I'm going through. I just need to get through this, get things done. But it is important to like think about your mental health during these times. So thank you guys so much for joining us. There are a ton of resources out there if you're struggling, whether it be from the counseling center or from academic skills. There are people that are out there for you. Feel free to share with us your experiences or suggest some questions that you want us to go over via our Hope Peer Educator email. which is hopepureeducators@kings.edu. So that about wraps things up. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.